I'm Reggie Ponder, the Real Critic, and I'm here at the Chicago premiere of SouthSide with you. I'm a Chicagoan, and this is a love story about Michelle Obama or Michelle Robinson and Barack Obama. This is their first date, and you have to check this one out. I'm Reggie Ponder. I'm here with Richard Tanne, and he is the writer, director, producer. I mean, you did it all on this one. The first question, and everybody asks you this, but I have to, is that what really motivated you to do this story?
Yeah, well, it was the love between the president and the first lady. You know, just the way they look at each other, the way they flirt. There's a beautiful, authentic, special thing going on there. And when I read about their first date back in 2007, 2008, I was just really struck by the dynamic of it, which was that then Michelle Robinson was not interested in Barack Obama, and she gave him one day to sort of prove himself. And by the end of the first date, by her own admission, he had done just that. And I related to that. It was sort of the classic boy chases girl story, and I just thought it would make for a great romance.
And I know in Hollywood we stretch some things sometimes, but how close in terms of from a relationship perspective is it this depiction that you do in this film?
Well, I think there's a lot of creative license. It is a fictionalized account. I tried to get as close to the established facts of the date as possible. So many of the places that they go to see Do the Right Thing, to the Art Institute, Baskin Robbins for their kiss. That's all accurate. But there wasn't a note taker on the date, so I had to sort of make things up in terms of what they'd talk about.
Well, one of the things that you made up, that you might have made up, but you really didn't, is the fact that you showed the community. You showed the South Side of Chicago. I know you shot all over the place, but I really saw the nuances there, where you had the little girls walking through the park, where you had the guy, them playing dominoes. Talk about how what made you really do those kind of details.
Well, a lot of that was kind of being in Chicago and soaking it up, and location scouting and getting a sense of what the folks here in the South Side are actually like, not what the media wants to portray them as, or what they're actually like.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we all sort of took it upon ourselves to create a counter narrative to how the South Side appears and how it's portrayed. And this is a love story, and we wanted to show a South Side where love happens, because it does.
Wow. Well, when you talk about it as a love story, it's interesting how you were able to show the love and make it romantic, but yet they had some tough moments in terms of being combative. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, that's one of those areas of creative license, because I don't know, of course, if they did clash at all on the first date, but you got to keep things interesting, and you got to imagine that there might have been some sparks here, in one direction or the other. So I wanted to kind of keep anticipation up for will they or won't they. Of course, we all know they will, but it's really more so about how they got there than will they or won't they.
And I asked you a little earlier, but why is this film important to you?
I mean, this film is important to me because first and foremost, because it tells a beautiful love story, and I think that's always an important thing to show. And it's also important to me because when Tika became involved in the project early on, she sort of made me aware of an aspect of it that I wasn't as tapped into at that early stage, which is we're going to show people that look like her falling in love on screen. And that became a really significant reason for all of us to be making this movie, and I think it's a great thing to be out there right now.
So my last question, because one of the things that I know about Michelle is her father is really important, and you guys actually showed that. Speak about it.
You can't walk away from any kind of even peripheral research into Michelle Obama's life without walking away with a sense of how much she loved and honored her father and her mother. But there's her father's deceased, but there is to this day she speaks so highly and lovingly of him, and so does Craig Robinson, her brother. So that had to come across in the movie because it's so much of who she is, and also it contrasts nicely with Barack's family history, which is not as stable and nuclear as Michelle's was.
So people might not want to go see this film. The last thing I'm gonna ask you is to make the pitch. Make the pitch. Tell them why they have to see this.
The major reason I made this movie was a date night movie. Go take your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Go out with the girlfriends. Go out with your buddies. Whatever it is, because it's a fun Friday night, Saturday night date night movie. That's my pitch.
There you have it.
It's a lot more fun than you're expecting it to be.
Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it, and congratulations too.